Tomorrow is a big day. It is my hometown half marathon, and I'm actually just at the park now where the start and finish line is, Sconce Park, the Newark half marathon. Mainly because I wanted to make sure I know what direction to go to when I go to the finish, because I don't know if they changed it up since I last did it, which was a while ago now. It's when I was 17, so when was that, 2018? And back then, when I was 17 years old, 119, but I probably could have ran a little bit quicker if I started training properly for it, but I wasn't ready for that kind of training just there. I was struggling with a lot of injuries in my late teenage years. But we're a lot stronger and we're a lot fitter now. So tomorrow, really the goal is, I want to take it as a hard tempo run. And that's the main goal really, because I do have a peak half marathon race in 3 weeks time, the Great North Run, and I really want to leave something in the tank for that race. So in terms of a time, I think tomorrow really the goal is to run under 67:30, because that's where the prize money bonus starts. So yeah, I kind of want that prize money. So yeah, that's the main goal, which works at about 5-10 mile pace. So that's kind of like a hard tempo effort for me. But I also have done my lactate threshold testing earlier this week, and actually the results of that test were very surprising, but also very positive, because it means we're getting fitter and moving in the right direction. We're now on the infamous Newark Parkrun Hill. Yeah, so hopefully my legs won't be too beat up from this hill for tomorrow on this walk, but I think we'll be all right. So yeah, this morning I just did a nice short easy run. Well, short for me, just 10k and a couple strides, and the legs felt okay. But today, weirdly, I am feeling pretty tired, but I think that's a result of my body entering sort of almost recovery mode after the huge monstrous training weeks we've been doing. Really the last past month of the marathon training block. I think the big one really is last week was my biggest ever training week of all time, running 125 miles and also incorporating some 3 really good quality sessions there. And this week my body has just said, right, we need to back things off now. That was quite a lot, so I really cut down the intensity this week, but still kept the volume pretty high. We'll probably hit close to 100 miles for this week. We'll get home, get some dinner, and I think that'll be it. I'll leave the video here for today, and I'll catch you tomorrow for the race. Catch you at the race start, and yeah, take you along for the race, of course, too.
Take 1 step forward. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Go Ed! Go Ed! Have a good run, see you at the end!
So after the first couple miles of the race, I found myself working with this guy here, Dave, from Derby AC, and we were on for a pretty solid time, and I was feeling pretty good. So we ended up working together for the first half of the race, which actually this year was a little bit easier than it has been in previous years. And this is because we had a tailwind from the northeast. Now, I know the course inside and out. I've done the course many times on the bike. I've also done long runs on part of the course. And actually, my long run last weekend was on the course. And this section of the course, the old A46, is a very long straight road. You can't really see the end of it. And it can get very, very windy along here if the wind is coming in the right direction. It just gets filtered down and funneled down with the hedges either side. But luckily, we had a tailwind behind us at this point, so I was feeling pretty good, and yeah, the legs were feeling good too. As we come down the old A46, we run through East Stoke, where there was a famous battle in the War of the Roses. And we come up the main hill on the course. Now, this is just the top of the hill here. I forgot to catch the rest of the hill, but I'll show you another view in just a second. But yeah, this bit of the course can get pretty tough, but we had the tailwind behind us, so it didn't feel as tough as it has done before. Last week when I did this as my long run, it was very, very tough.
Looking good.
Coming out of East Stoke, we move towards Eden Hall and then head towards Elston as where we are now. And we go through 5 miles around this point. And this is where I decided to really make a move. I decided to just pull away and really just put the effort up a little bit and put my foot down. As we come in and down into Wellston, we have a little bit of a downhill here, which makes it for a slightly quicker mile. However, we were running into a slight headwind. So I really decided to really pick up the effort here and use the downhill to my advantage. I actually ran one of my fastest miles of the course for mile 7 after we passed through halfway in 32:40, which is actually bang on PB pace. And so when we got to about mile 7, which is about this point on the course, this is where it really started to get tough. Because at this point we turned around and we're now heading back towards Scots Park along the old Roman roads, which are very narrow and have hedges surrounding each side, and they've really just filter the wind down, and we were running into a pretty strong headwind here. These roads are also very long and very straight, so you're literally battling out with the headwind for the entire mile at a time. And so as we approached mile 8 around here, which was all into a headwind, we ran one of our slowest miles of the course, which was a 5:09, but the effort level felt more like a sub 5. Fortunately for mile 9, we did have a slight break from the headwind from a left-hand turn we made. However, that didn't last long as mile 10 was mostly into a headwind, but we did have a slight break from it when we entered the village of Thorpe. So at this point in the race, I was still feeling pretty good and still keeping the effort level controlled, but my effort level had gone up certainly from the start, because it was getting much harder to hold the pace running back into the headwind than it was having the tailwind behind us for the first half of the race. But I was still feeling strong and still feeling pretty good at mile 10, so I decided, you know what, I'm going to try and pick up the effort level a little bit. But this got increasingly harder, particularly with mile 11, because that was a very hard mile into the headwind, and it just felt like every time I tried to push the pace, like just a few seconds a mile faster, it felt like an exponential effort increase. Now, with battling the open headwind for mile 11, we ran our second slowest mile of the race at 5:06. But at this point, I thought, you know what, let's push on for home. I still was keeping the effort controlled and keeping the effort level consistent. So this is now where we come back into Horton. I know there's not much longer left of the race, and we really just need to knuckle down and push the pace. And as we come into Horton, I know there's just over a mile left to go. So now's the time to full send it and just see how fast we can run. I knew a PB pace was maybe on the cards here, but I wasn't too fussed because I knew that this last mile was going to be tough because it's slightly uphill and we sadly also have a headwind. So it really makes for quite brutal finishing conditions right here. But on any other year where we have the normal prevailing wind direction of a southwesterly, this will be a little bit quicker because we'll have a little bit of a tailwind behind us. Now, I don't know if you can tell, but we will be coming up on the 12th mile marker in just a sec here, so I'll get that split for you. It's very hard to tell because I did seem to catch a bit more of the sky in this last mile of the race than I did of the actual road. But yeah, I wasn't too fussed about this. I was just more focused on the running. But I did learn from my mistake last time, and that is I did want to capture the finish. So we will be fast forwarding this last mile so we can catch that finish.
Come on, Ed! Well done, mate! Well done! Don't forget, follow the arrows. I'll see you at the end.
As I approached the final few bends of the course, which I made sure to rehearse in my head yesterday, so I knew where I was going, I knew we were on for a very fast time, so really just trying to focus on closing pretty hard here. And I looked down at my watch and saw, oh, we're pretty close to our PB here, and frankly that quite shocked me because the effort level today didn't feel completely all out. it felt controlled. It was actually felt like my easiest half marathon today, which is great news because it means we're getting fitter and we're getting stronger. But can we cross the line here in a new PB? We crossed it in 1:05:36. Sadly not. That's 13 seconds off my PB.
And an incredible 1:05:36. Edward Buck, everybody! And whilst we're missing our second place athlete, please a round of applause for our 1, 2, 3 in the male category, Newark. Well done, congratulations, fellas.
Good job, well done.
Yeah. Well, I think overall that was a pretty successful day. We came away with the course record, well, at least I think it's the course record, and running a solid time too, 65:36, which is actually 13 seconds off my PB that I set at Copenhagen Half Marathon last year. And Copenhagen Half Marathon is a much faster course than the Newark Half. Now, although we were 13 seconds off our PB, the pace today felt much more comfortable than it's ever been. 5-minute miles felt so much more comfortable than they've ever been, which is a huge sign. It's a great sign because it means we're getting fitter, we're getting stronger. And if we're getting fitter and stronger, then we're bound to run faster. However, did we maybe push things a little bit too hard today? Did we go a little bit too hard? Well, maybe, who knows? But I think that effort level today, it still kept that effort level controlled. We didn't reach the point where we're crawling across the line, struggling to finish, really hit the wall. We've given everything we possibly could. I could have probably kept going for a little bit longer, actually, after the race, at that pace. Maybe not the pace for the last mile, but certainly a 5-minute mile pace could have held that for longer. And that's exactly the effort I was kind of really after today. Well, we'll see how the legs come round over the next couple of days because these legs have been through a lot lately and they are a little bit battered, which is part of the reason why I want an evening walk right now, just to stretch out my legs, kickstart that active recovery process. And recovery is such a huge, important part to training, and I actually have a video up and coming on recovery and recovery tips, which will be coming out after this video, so stay tuned for that one. But yeah, I think that's pretty much all I have to kind of update you all on the race. We'll see how the legs come over the next few days. So yeah, I think maybe another thing that helped me run faster today and make things feel easier was I have had my haircut recently. Don't know if you can probably tell, it's quite a big haircut too, shaved quite a little bit off. So who knows, maybe the extra weight saving today has made me run faster. Or it could just be the consistent training, consistent miles I've been putting in. So yeah, I think I'll leave the video here for today. Stay tuned for that recovery video. And yeah, I will see you in the next video. Hope you've enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. And I will see you in the next one.